Ooh, I didn't test my audio. Shit. Let me see. Test. Let me test. Do I sound robotic? I don't. Okay, good. We're good. Hmm. 3 minutes of no talking. Wow. I think that's like the longest I haven't talked on stream. At the start, anyways. The fuck is this song? I don't really want to keep listening to Shaggy. This was supposed to be like a random playlist, but I see it's not very random. Gotta go with the classics then. What up, Myth? How you doing? Crazy. What's crazy? I'm starting a new canvas, okay? But what I'm doing right now is I'm just drawing on the old canvas so that I can get some sort of stylistic direction. Starting from a blank canvas for me is really difficult, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a couple head drawings and then we're gonna port them over. What up, homie? What up, Warframe Sensei? How you doing, dog? Whoops, not that. Hello, Mr. Big Booba Mouse Art Man. What up, dude? A lot of things going on in that sentence, and I'm all of them. I'm like existing. What about you, big dog? I'm chilling. Bro, I'm telling you guys, if you ever have the financial ability to get yourself a standing desk, it's so awesome, dude. It's so awesome. I'm standing right now. It's crazy. How's your Friday going, everyone? Do it jiggle, Ollie the cookie? You know it do. Here's a little cookie for you. Shit. It do be jiggling. It do be jiggling. Good, good. Unk got that booba. That's true. Unk got the booba. I'm a man of the people. What can I say? We gotta compete with all the other anime VTubers out there, you know? They can't all be fat tittied anime girls. Happy desk to you, Mr. Snack. How's it going? How's it going, Kimdo? How's your weekend going? And or, I guess, weekend day? I don't know. Your weekend started before mine, I assume. My name is Sam. I'm standing in solidarity with Snack. Are you really, Verb? Hell yeah, dude. Let the nuts hang, dude. Let them hang, brother. Yeah, I just woke up. It's Saturday. That's so confusing. Whenever people live in, like, crazy time zones that are different than mine, like, I'm talking, like, 10, 12-hour differences, I don't understand how they attend my streams, to be honest. If you just woke up, it's like, what, 6 a.m. for you right now? Crazy. Thank you for being here. A little snack breakfast. Yeah, I'm also from the future. It's Saturday. Those Asian time zones, bro, they go crazy. How you guys doing that? Living in the future. It's Friday here. It's like Friday evening here. It's not even morning yet. Or late at night. It's not even 6 p.m. Bro, what is going on with my fucking Spotify? Give me a second. I'm gonna restart it. Normally what happens is Spotify, whenever I play a song from my recently played, the algorithm just picks up random songs and it just runs with it. But for whatever reason, it's just playing songs by one band. And it was doing that with Shaggy, and now it's doing that with Evanescence. I want it to shuffle. Let's try. Let me go. What do we want to listen to? Alright, I'll listen to a little Stained, I think. I can get a little dad rock going. Let's see what's next in the queue. Okay, I mean, it's the next in the queue is also Stained, but it's at least switching it up, you know? Living Like Larry? Who's Larry? But yeah, we're gonna do a little drawing today, just because I'm taking a little mental break from doing the animation. I was doing another animation most of the week that I'll probably reveal in a couple weeks. I wanna get some more of it done on my own. I've been sort of like hinting at this thing for a while, but so I have a proposition. I have this cool Giga Triple S Pull legendary animation that I found. Maybe you want to check it out as an animator. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I've seen a bazillion different Saga things. You know what you could do? You could probably, if you want, you could post it in general, I guess. I don't really know. We don't have like an area to post things that are just like, hey, look at this cool thing I found. You could post it in general and say, hey, look at this cool thing I found, and I'll probably look at it. Is it from like a specific show or something? You know what? Do I show you guys what I'm working on? With the other little animation I'm working on in? It's not a big secret or anything. I just kind of want to... I feel like part of it... The mentality... Oh, I'm so bad at keeping secrets, bro. the mentality is, I feel like if I keep it for myself, you know, it's a little, it's easier to work on, because it's like, it's my little thing. But then I feel like once I do it on stream, because stream is me wasting 4 hours of my time not working on shit, it tends to fall by the wayside. But I feel like if I do things privately, I tend to get a little bit more focused when I'm doing them, and I can get more work done on them in general. Instead of just having them become stale without getting anything done on them. No spoilers? Alright, it's decided. It's not like anything crazy. I mean, it's got some cool perspective, I think. It's not gonna blow your dick off or anything, but... It's not Sakuga, it's different. I thought you might check it out on stream and give your comments as Mr. Animator. Typically, I bring critiques on stream. It's not that I don't want to, it's that yeah, you know, fuck it. Just send it in general. My concern, though, is I don't want, like, people constantly sending me things they find that are cool on the internet, because then I'm just gonna, like, forever just gonna be pulling stuff up on stream. If I open that can of worms, you know? But for this particular moment, fuck it. Just send it down. We'll take a look. But it's legendary. It better make me come, dude. You're hyping this thing up. Sent it? Uh-oh. Here we go. Oh yeah, I mean, I know this animator. They're fantastic. Okay, I mean, it's a full music video. I don't really want to play a whole music video, to be quite honest. I thought it was just like a GIF or something. Yeah, I follow this artist on Instagram. They are a fantastic artist. I'm gonna play the animation for a little bit. I'll do like 20 to 30 seconds of it. I don't really want to play the whole thing because it's a full music video. But let me pull it up. Where's my dick cord? There it is. Yeah, it's very, very nice. I don't think you guys can see what I'm seeing right now. Is there audio on this? Where's the audio bar? There we go. Bye-bye, audio. Yeah, I think it's really nice. I particularly like this artist. I can't remember his name. I think it's something Egg. At least skip to the fight part. This is the fight part. Yeah, it's very nice stuff. I don't have, like, anything to really add. I think it's great. Also, Ollie, thank you for the 5 streams, dude. Thank you for the 5 stream streak. Scrambled egg, that's where it is. The bed thing made me come. Oh, when the bed, like, multiplies? Is that it? I think I know what shot you're talking about. It's stylistically, like, gorgeous, you know? I don't have anything to, like, add, really. I feel like I'm doing React content right now. One thing I'll say, it's very well cut. Getting cuts and scene transitions, especially shots like with the reflection here and all that stuff, it's very creatively done. It's well done, you know. Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite shots in the whole thing. Especially here where it basically turns into a frame by frame of the actual character. Like, I don't know, it's really, really, really nice. Anyways, I'm not gonna keep playing through the whole thing, but you guys get the idea. I think you should check them out on Instagram. If you have a link, now recreate. I'm probably a lifetime away from being that good, dude. It ain't happening. I think another thing that kind of blows my mind is I think they're just like one person. Part of me wants to believe they have like a crew of people, but I saw the credits and it's animated by one person. I really wonder how long it took them, because like, yeah, that's not an easy thing to do. Yeah, it's very, very nice though. Off scrambled egg. That's it. Thank you for the link. But yeah, I think they are probably one of my favorite like web gen animators at the moment, for sure. So, you know, excellent find. I actually think a lot of Eve's stuff is animated by individual artists. Yeah, that's true. I mean, look, I've known people who've done music videos, okay, and stuff like that for animators. But usually, they're not like that's polished. You know what I mean? And it's not that they're not polished. It's just that they're stylistically simplified. Whereas that looks really fucking difficult to do. And I am very curious as to how long it would have taken them to do something like that. Because it sounds fucking... In my mind, that just feels like it would take me like a solid year. Probably like year of like full-time work to get something half as good as that. You know? There's people that are just on another level. All of Eve's music videos are gorgeous. Eve is the artist, right? It's not the... Oh, sorry, artist. When I say artist, I mean musician. Oh, also, I have a little announcement to make. On... Let me check the dates, actually, before I say this. On May 2nd... So next Saturday, not the one coming up tomorrow, the one coming up next week, I'm going to be having a guest streamer on the channel. We're going to have PK, aka Painted Knave, formerly known as Painted King, on stream on Saturday. He's going to be joining us, I don't know, I guess till he wants to leave eventually. But he's going to pop in, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a shared community critique session. So he's going to let his community know that he's going to be on my stream. And he's going to be collecting art submissions. And I'll be doing the same. So we're going to, together, go over people's artwork and just give feedback on stream. Double the piss jokes or more tame? PK and I spoke. And he's going to come on my stream. And we're just going to basically treat it like a normal stream, you know? It's not going to be any particularly different. Now, if we were doing like a co-stream or something, then I think, you know, maybe we'd tone it down a little bit. But he's cool with just coming on and shooting the shit and getting all crazy. So yeah, bring the piss jokes, dude. Well, I certainly came, wink, on your stream. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen to him. But yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post an announcement, probably like today after stream or tomorrow or whatever. I was gonna do it on Wednesday, but I figured it made more contextual sense to have it a little bit closer to the stream day than when I go live, so it's more relevant. People are gonna be looking at the Discord more. So probably today after stream or tomorrow, I'm gonna make a little announcement just to start collecting critiques. And now I'm wondering if it's worth it for me to make a separate critique channel temporarily, or just use the one we have. You know, because the thing is, with the one we have, people will typically post expecting feedback from me like the very next stream, essentially. So I'm wondering if that'll get lost in translation at some point, but... I can't imagine animating. I finish a drawing and I'm like, done. I feel like the mental endurance of having really long pieces that you're working on is the thing that you can just sort of work towards improving, you know? Like, it is like, I don't want to say it's a skill. It's not a skill. It's a mental state that you can get comfortable with. Make a new one for the occasion. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I'll see. I'll figure it out. I'll probably talk to the mods and... Or, you know what, I'll just make an executive decision. We'll see. I feel like his bottom of his head needs to be a little longer. Now it's got snack proportions. Better. Oh, let me restart Songify too, in case you guys want to queue up some shit. What's good, dweebs? What up, Cutmaro? How you doing, dog? I was just saying, I don't know if you heard, because I know you're a PK viewer. Next Saturday, PK is going to be joining us on stream here. And we're going to be doing a little community critique of the cat snack community. And some of PK's peeps. Fuck. I gotta reconnect my freaking stream, dude. Give me a second here. Twitch, connect. Come on, Twitch, you can do it. Oh. Give me a second here. Hopefully I finish this blue heron piece by then. I mean, look, even if you don't, dude, you could still submit it and then you can get some sort of midway like whip feedback. I don't really care if like what you're submitting is like complete or not. I think so long as there's something that you want help with or you want me to point you in some sort of direction, totally cool with that. Okay, I think the Songify thing is working now. Hopefully I finish something by then. You got a whole week, dude. I'm sure you can figure it out. Come on, Mike. What do you guys think, okay? So if you guys are people who've submitted critiques before, is there anything that... Do you think it would be better to just do it in the old critiques channel, or do you think I should make a new one temporarily? I think the issue with the new one temporarily is if I post the feedback in there, and then I mute that eventually, it'll be lost, unless you guys save it. Whereas if I just do it in the original one, then it's preserved, you know? I think you should just use the old one. Yeah, I think so too. I think that's what I'll do. I'll probably just send old stuff. I don't care. Kimdo. What? You do make new stuff. I know you can. I'm just kidding. You can submit whatever you want, dude. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But no excuses, dude. You gotta pump out more shit. Get to work. Chop chop. I don't want Kimdo slacking. You're sitting on too much potential, dude, to take a break. Be a crazy person. Just work endlessly. Until you have, like, issues like me. Don't you want to be just like me, dude? I just finished a drawing? Hell yeah. Maybe drop an all bold message in the old one as a line so you know where to start. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. It's actually a very good idea. What kind of hair should this guy have? Would you draw, Kimdo? That don't look right. I'll put it in the Discord? Hell yeah. Did we give this guy a little face tat or a little scar or something? I feel like he's kind of boring right now. So, little question, when you do the wrinkly, tired eye thing, do you just go ham with the lines until it looks right, or is there a technique? There's definitely a technique. So, normally, and I don't know if I actually applied it here, generally speaking, the farther away you go from the eye, the looser your lines are going to be, and the fewer of them there are going to be. So they're going to be really concentrated around that top eyelid. So if you're doing like an eye, let's say, like this, right? It's basically the same eye I did here. Most of the line weight is going to be on that top lid. And then for the bottom lid, I'll usually do a thinner line, you know, maybe like this if it's like a top-down view, or, you know, like this if it's like a normal standard view or whatever. And then from there, you know, I'll sometimes define the eyeball a little bit more here. But when I'm doing the lines, I'm following the direction of the lines, and I'm usually going tighter to looser. So tighter, real close in there, and then we're getting a little looser, and maybe fewer lines, a little disjointed, and then maybe we just fill in with a few lines or whatever. But that's normally how I'm doing it. So that's sort of the philosophy, and that's sort of a general philosophy for all types of hatching. If you ever do like cross-hatching or anything, it's not law, okay? It's not mandatory for you to do this, but it is a suggestion that if you want a little bit of logic to your hatching, what you should do is as you get closer to the edge of a form, okay, let's say there's a cylinder here. As you get closer to the edge of a form, you get a lot tighter with your lines. And then as you get towards the middle of the form, you get a little more space between your lines. It makes it sort of feel like those lines are dropping off. See, doesn't that feel like a lot better than if I just, on the other side, just did this? You know? Same concept, but with the spacing on the lines, it just feels a lot more appealing. And also, when you're doing hatching, you want to follow the contour of the form. Anyways, so that's sort of how I approach it. And then from there, it's all just sort of vibes, intuition, and aiming to optimize appeal, I guess. And then these little lines, if you ever see me doing like little lines like this in here, or I don't really like that one in particular, but sometimes I'll do little lines. That's basically me implying the bottom eyelid, okay? But I'm really, 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 really sparing with these lines. I don't want to go too heavy, unless it might just feel like a really, really heavy eye bag. Maybe if it's a super old character, I'll go pretty heavy, but generally speaking, I'm a little lighter on that bottom eyelid, or the lines under the eyelid. You always want a balance, and you never want the same amount on either side, generally. Yeah, it's basically how shadows work. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't necessarily need to use your hatching in the same way that you would for, like, shadows or whatever, but it's a good approach. Oh, so much top tier knowledge? Yeah, no worries. Like, you'll always see, like, if ever I'm giving them a line, this guy's got some heavy lines here, but it's not, like, super heavy where it's like I'm giving him, like, an eye bag or whatever, you know? Unless I'm giving him, like, a scar, like the Luffy scar. But yeah, it's always pretty light with these lines under the eyes. And a lot of the times I won't even connect the line fully, because it just indicates that it's a little bit lighter, you know? It's disjointing your lines is almost like a form of line weight. At least it is for me, but... Part of me wants to kind of... I don't know what to do with this guy's hair, actually. And I guess while we're talking about topics too for like hair and stuff, if you're ever giving spikies, try to make sure that the direction of the spikies has a gradual flow that sort of follows the directional change on his skull. So if his skull is doing this, it gradually gets lower and lower, so the spikies are going to gradually point steeper and steeper down. Right, so that's just like another little thing that I try and do. Avail, how you doing? How you doing, Avail? How's your comic coming along, dude? For those who don't know, Avail's a streamer here on Twitch, and she's doing a Zelda-based comic. And I love your art streams. Whenever I can catch them, because obviously they're a little late, but... Man, it's looking awesome. Hey, well, send it somewhere, dude. I want to see it. Drop it in the Discord someday. Or if you got a link, drop it in chat, whatever. I don't know if you know, but I hired another manga artist to help me. Oh, really? Who? Do we know them? Are they a Twitch person, or are they like a internet person? So I'm not sharing his sick pages yet? Alright, alright. You keep your secrets. No worries. But bless us once you got it. Let me know. Nah, I'm not even sure he speaks English. How does that work for communicating stuff? Is he doing character work, or is he doing, like, backgrounds? Ian over on YouTube says, I gotta tell you, I'm warming up to this shit-ass music. Thank you, Ian. I keep it playing because I think back to all of your comments about how much you hate it, but you keep showing up, and so, you know, I figure you're just nagging me, or you're being a little yandere, or whatever the one is that, like, gets angry all the time. I always get confused. Is that tsundere or yandere? He's actually on Twitch, but not very active. His username is elbanp. If you're curious. Oh, I'm curious. I'll check him out. Tsundere. Yandere is the one that kills you to death. I feel like that's like the same thing, aren't they? Aren't they both the same? I can't find him on Twitch. Let me try better. Oh, I found him. Okay. Oh, cool. Okay, yeah, I like his style, dude. It's very like it's almost like webcomic-y. You know what I mean? It's very nice, which I assume is kind of what you're going for, maybe. Yours definitely seems a little bit more like manga-esque, but he doesn't have his socials on there, so not very helpful. I just saw his banner, you know? After minimal thought and no consideration, I'm giving up on the old piece and starting a new one. How come? I feel like this guy's jaw is like too big. I like my Twinkie boys, what can I say? I'll be lurking, have a good stream. Alright, Dizzy, happy Friday. Have a good one, Dizzy. Alright, I'm putting on my glove and trying to replicate at least a fraction of Snack's power. Glove? What, do you use protection when you draw? Nah, I raw dog that shit, dude. That's how you birth beauties, you know? I'm just kidding. My hand would probably glide a lot better if I did use a glove. I just draw from my wrist, and it's just like habit at this point, but... It's far too noisy for my liking, but I put a lot of time and work into a more realistic leaning rendering, so it's just not my vibe anymore. Are you talking about the piece that you were working on? It's not, like, salvageable at all? Mikashi, Snack, hope everything's going good for you and chat. Ooh, you're thinking of chat? You're thinking of chat too? Look at that, guys. How's it going, Mikashi? I'm doing good. It's Friday. The weekend just started. I have a couple days to just forget about my life and then go back to work on Monday, but like before then, you know, we're partying, dude. Letting my cock hang low. Can only hang so low, but... Hello, what up, Benny Wee Wee? How you doing? Well, my hand does get really sweaty, so I'm trying out a glove. Like, I've only got 22 days of experience, so I'm trying it all. That's right. That's the best way to do it, dude. Just experiment, experiment, experiment until you land on something that works for you. That's how you get into your own groove. I don't like the tilt on the brow here. I think the brow could be higher up, to be quite honest. Feels like there's not enough brow. Yeah, that brow line weight's a little heavy. I don't like the angle on that. Fine, thank you. Hope you're good too. I'm chilling, dog. I'm good. That's why I landed on your stream and sat my ass all day until 2 a.m. I really dig your style of characters. Would love to see a dark fantasy with them. Honestly, dude, that's kind of what I want to do. I want to do a dark fantasy with like a manga style. I really like the gothic undead look of things. Which is funny because I'm the most normie looking dude ever, but I just like the aesthetic. The issue is I don't know how to do backgrounds. And so I started running with this idea of making a comic, but I don't know how to do backgrounds. And so they're just gonna exist in these like voids. I don't like that. I don't know. Maybe that's just an excuse. Maybe I could do it. Am I tripping or is this eye too high? Yeah, I gotta rework some shit here. Dizzy is currently on a 50 stream streak. Insane, dude. Insane. Something dark fantasies with snacked? Okay. Alright. Yeah, go bonk yourself. You're supposed to be lurking. Nah, not for what I'm thinking of the new version. I put the old one in the critique channel because I'm not super confident in the texturing soft surfaces like feathers. Okay, let me... I don't know, dude. I think this looks sick. What don't you like about it? Like, what area don't you like about it? Because I think it's well balanced. Relative to the last thing you posted, I think it's a lot better balanced. If you're talking about the feathers, like, at the bottom... I mean, you could just, honestly, you could probably black a lot of that stuff out. If you're really concerned. And just look for interesting shapes there. I think that would honestly, like, help it a little bit. The tip of the beak where the snake head is. I don't know. I think it looks sick. It looks very, like, tattoo-esque. Or, like t-shirt. Honestly, dude, Cut Marrow, you would make sick t-shirts. Snack! Siren! Kimdo, I love how you draw eyebrows. I high-key stole your way by, like, barely giving them eyebrows. I'm a big fan of no eyebrows. I don't know why. I dig the look, dude. I think these are the biggest eyebrows I've ever drawn on a character ever here. And they feel weird. Haha, imagine that'd be so funny if I made shirts. Do you make shirts? Is that a thing you do? You didn't make PK shirts, did you? Because I know he has like that one shirt that's like black and white. And I've seen you do a lot of black and white stuff, so now I'm sniffing it out. I would make him a shirt, but he hasn't asked. I see. The shapiness. The shapiness. Fuck. Froggy Thighs, thank you for the follow-up. Froggy Thighs. You're a streamer, aren't you? I think I follow you. I think I was lurking in your chat, like, not too long ago. Sorry for calling you out. Maybe I'm tweaking, dude. Oh my god, hey, I forgot to follow. I forgive you, Froggy Thighs. Just don't do it again. Nah, I'm just playing. How you doing? Welcome in. Arr! We're talking about eyebrows. And t-shirts. You were just streaming this afternoon, right? How'd your stream go? want to break free, back to me. Snack, how does one draw the good food that the characters eat? Art tax? I'll take an art tax, Frog, if you want to drop something. I'm good, I'm trying to render, but it's a pain. It never stops being a pain, huh? Siren, are you asking me how to draw food? I don't know, bro. I don't do props. I literally, all I draw is characters, obsessively. My knowledge, expertise is really in, like, anatomy and characters, for the most part. Props are, like, uncharted territory for me. Or they're, like, barely charted territory, I should say. I would say use reference, would be my advice. What are you trying to draw? Maybe I can offer a little bit of help. I can always try and offer a little help, you know? But I just don't know. It'd be one of those things where I feel like whenever I give critiques to people on stream and they're asking me for specific things out of like a domain of expertise that I'm comfortable with, I feel like I tend to talk in circles until I eventually land on the right answer, but I say like 20 wrong things first. And it's because I'm kind of like teaching myself on the fly and just thinking out loud. So that'd be my concern if I gave you feedback, but fuck it, I could try. Danny Donkey, do a jiggle? Shit, it'll already be jiggling, dog. What you talking about? I wanted to draw a character munching on crab legs. Oh, bro. Oh man, I would say find a reference or take a picture of yourself munching on crab legs. Or it doesn't have to be crab legs. You can honestly just take a pencil or something that's the shape of a crab leg or, you know, cylindrical and just replace it with a crab leg. That's what I would do. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to really give feedback on that. I think his cheekbone's a little low here. Getting freaky with Mr. Krabs. Siren me boy. Crab's tasty, man. I do love a good crab. I'm honestly, I'm a little bit of a whore for imitation crab. You give me a little crab stick, dude, I'll tear that shit up. When I used to work out, one of my biggest, my cut meals was I would go on these walks with my buddy. We'd walk for a couple hours, and then we'd go to Walmart, and I'd pick up like a thing of, I'd get an Asian pear, okay? I'd get imitation crab, and I would get the hell else would I get? Strawberries usually, a banana, and like a Diet Pepsi, and that was kind of like my meal of champions. Imitation crab, don't beat real crab. I know, but we're on a budget. We can't be living like kings every day, Siren. I think Konosuba has a good crab leg reference. There you go. You could also just Google guy eating crab legs or girl eating crab legs, and I guarantee you'll have 50 billion references to choose from. That's a very common thing that's like depicted in media. I don't like the changes I made here. I'm just gonna leave it kind of the way it was. Still think this eye, either this eye's too low or that eye's too high. I think this eye might be too low. Feels a little better, I think. Hard to say. Thanks, guys. I trust you so much. I thought I'd come here first. Hey, I appreciate it. If you end up doing it, okay, and you have a reference source, post it in the critiques channel. I'll go over it. Doesn't bother me. It's gonna help me a lot more if you have a reference to where I can tell you what's working and what's not working. But Asian pears are fire? They are, dude. They remind me of like candy, like a very subtle like candy flavor. The GOAT is Kim Jong-gi. Kim Jong-gi is the GOAT, I won't lie. He's up there. EO58 also pretty freaking goated, not gonna lie. I don't like the... This guy looks like chubby. It's not really the look I'm going for here. Yeah, but that's like so basic. That's true. He is goated though. Okay, I think the cheekbone needs to come out more, and then that a little bit. Yeah, that works better. That works a lot better. I wonder if not safe for work artists feel weird drawing their first cock and balls with serious intention. I assume the psychology behind that is like, you know, if it makes you horny, you're doing a good job, okay? I don't know if I'm... I don't know if these collarbones are really working for me. I wonder if they feel weird using their own junk as reference. I don't think they're using their own junk as reference, dude. I can't imagine just getting in front of my mirror, just fucking trying to get myself hard for reference. I don't think that's how that works. Look, I'm not a not safe for work artist, all right? So I can't speak from experience, but I doubt they're fucking cranking hog in the mirror trying to keep themselves hard for their entire duration of their drawing. You know, the internet exists, bro. You can fucking find reference everywhere for that. Man, I would draw not safe for work, but I can't find a girl who's willing to let me take photos of her naked, dude. It's crazy. Who would have thought? What a cruel world. Like, you're basically putting it everywhere for everyone to see. More fun that way. You're wild, dog. There's probably an artist working in a hentai studio while feeling mad awkward studying the glizzy details. I'm gonna be honest, dude, if you're hard committed to drawing hentai to the point where you work in a hentai studio, I think you're just watching porn casually, bro. I feel like you're there, you're blasting the biggest, fattest tits, swinging all over the place, somebody getting pounded down gorilla style. Like, I think you're doing that at your desk, right next to the other guy working next to you doing the exact same thing. I feel like at that point, you're so far beyond. If it's your full-time job, it's like, I feel like at that point, it's just like porn stars having a naked conversation with each other post-set, you know? Or post-shoot. I don't think you're really worried. I was sitting on one stream and the person was drawing the Twitter trend with the shadows over boobs. They did use themselves as reference. For the boobs or the character looking up at the boobs? Oh my god, the sounds in that studio must be crazy. Honestly, they're probably all still equally shy artists that probably don't say shit to each other. Every studio I've worked at, which is one, the artists were very, very quiet. It was like, you couldn't hear anything. For the shadow, how the hands should be cast? Okay, I don't know what meme you're talking about. I was picturing like the meme where like the Pepe frog is like looking up or whatever. I don't know how to draw a Pepe frog, but... And then there's like the grayscale shadow over top. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like this meme? That's the one I was thinking of. The emotion around. Oh, fuck. That's huge. It begins to burn. I held my head up high. With the way the economy is in this day and age, I guarantee there's at least one person not enjoying their job in that studio because they're drawing wee-wees. It's possible. I'm sure you could have like a coming to Jesus moment where you're like, man, I've been doing this for 5 years. I don't really want to draw cocks anymore, you know? But I assume if you took a job, drawing cocks is a full-time thing. First of all, incredibly rare job. Second of all, like, you probably love it, dude. Let's be real. I don't think you're getting a lot of complaints from these people. And also, I think when it comes to art in general and nudity, you tend to get desensitized to it, you know? Like, it's like, when you go to life drawing class, you're not fucking bricked up the whole time. You know what I mean? You get used to it after a while. You're just like, you know, you're just drawing people or whatever. Back in my head, no time for moaning. Ain't got no time. Speak for yourself. I mean, I am. Let's be clear, I am. I'm bricked up the whole time at life drawing classes. He's doing Darth Vader costume studies. Imagine being that guy and seeing your shit get pixelated in like 2/3 of the world. I mean, I feel like references aren't even adapted like 1-to-1. You wouldn't like take a guy and then draw his exact dick pixel for pixel. Especially if you're animating, I feel like everything would just devolve into shapes. Exactly. Maybe if I get desperate, one day I'll do some not safe for work animations. Probably not though. I don't like this guy's hair. I'm gonna tweak it up a little bit. My own vision. Helps being the model. Busy, do you do life drawing as a model? You're just hard the whole time. Actually, I heard a story about that recently. There was a model in a life drawing class that was like, it wasn't hard, but he was like very clearly just like staring at one person in particular, and he would just like talk to her like excessively. It was like apparently very weird, and they had to get rid of him. It's the one story where the model's being the villain, you know? How long are those sessions? 3 to 4 hours usually. At least the ones I went to. And there on a Sunday morning, banging my head. Time for morning. Yeah, because normally all the horror stories are from students just being fucking weirdos, but it is interesting to hear the opposite. By the way, do you like not do the sketches and just kind of wing the face? Yeah, I just kind of raw dog it. I try and get it all done one shot. I don't have like sketch phases with faces that much. Maybe if I'm doing like it really depends. I don't have like a necessarily a set process, but I do typically just kind of jump right into it, you know? That being said, though, I would not recommend doing that unless you're like very comfortable with drawing faces. You should be starting with like some sort of scaffolding. I think a lot of not safe for work is in posing and expression. Well, it's also in the fucking, I think, too. But yeah, I get like you could do two poses that are very similar, but one's sexually suggestive, and then the other one isn't, right? Like if I have a, I'm not gonna, maybe I shouldn't do this. I'm just gonna be like, let me give you an example. But like, let's say you have like a girl. I'll do it the safe for work way, right? Let's say you just have like a chick and she's just sitting down, whatever, blah 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 blah. Girl, sitting down, sitting down. She's got her like hand here and like head here, whatever. I don't know, something like this, right? And then her other arm, she looks like a hunchback here, but okay, I ran out of room. But you could see how you could take this pose and you could make a very small modification and instantly make it very sexualized, right? Like, let's say I'm gonna do like a little. Like, this is just a pose of a person sitting, right? And then, maybe they've got one arm out here, or, their arms on their leg, whatever, right? You could very easily make this suggestive by just, like, spreading the legs, let's say. So it's, like, a very similar pose. And so, yeah, I guess in a way, like, this suggestivity comes from the posing. But also, if I had her naked and gave her a big bush, that would probably work too, I mean, I guess it depends. It could just be like a nude study as well. It's not gonna have like significantly strong sexual like implications if it's just like a nude model. But Jardu, where's Jardu at? There he is. Why you're like orange? You're never the same color, so you blended in with Mike because you're both orange on my canvas right now, or on my screen. My canvas, my monitor. I think a lot of not safe for work is posing. I read that. Nah, the fucking gets boring if it's all the same. Tell that to porn addicts, dude. Well, I guess actually part of being a porn addict is like seeking out crazier and crazier shit, so maybe you're right. I think this eye needs to be smaller. Better. Oh, so much better. ODB. Damn. What up, Jadu? What up, J-Dog? Were you peeking? You were peeking with Nancy? Did you win? Have you won, son? Basically what I'm doing, I have my character laying on his side like he's modeling, one safe for work and the other not safe for work. See? Laying on your side, modeling, spreading your glutes, not safe for work. Safe for work is me practicing fabric wrinkles with the blanket covering his mature bits, while the not safe for work is without the blanket covering his, but drying bits. You mean a hard cock with dripping, steaming cum coming out of it? I get it. Kind of. Damn, so I lost my bet? I bet against you, dog. No, just flaccid? Ooh. I see. Very, avant-garde. Steaming? Yeah, I added that adjective in there. And I was like, what the fuck am I talking about? I mean, I got your money, got your money. We'll give him like half an ear here, because it's gonna be covered up. Baby, I got your money, got your money. Hey. Who's steaming their hog, dude? Like a little quickie rotisserie dog, you know? Just sitting on that steamer all day, looking like a raisin by the end of the work shift. Only an hour in and the cock's steaming? Well, that's because I've been standing this whole time. Do I give this guy painted in eyebrows? Am I gonna be fucking crazy with it, dude? Normally I just leave them blank. But I gave him really big eyebrows. I don't know if I like that. They're kind of like too big. We're getting into like Rock Lee territory. Baby, I got your money, got your money. Baby, I got your money. Alright, maybe no color for now. What I wouldn't give to spend a day as one of the hot dogs on the heated hot dog roller. I have a story about how I almost burnt down an entire like arena canteen with a hot dog roller. I was 14 years old, and I was working my first job. I might have been 15 at this point. It was like one of those like under the table jobs that my dad got me. So I was getting paid like below minimum wage, but I was getting paid in cash. Very sketchy, but it was. I was very young, and I worked at this place, and all I did was like sneak out between periods and go smoke weed. And then one day I left the place, and it had like a big metal like gate to lock up at the end of the day. It's like this big metal like garage door basically, because it's like a canteen, right? And then but I left the hot dog roller on, and it melted like all of the fucking chocolate inside. It melted all the chocolate bars. It was like piping hot when they went to open it the next day, like literally like incredibly warm. And then they magically stopped giving me hours shortly after that. That was probably the only job I've ever been fired from. I think what's making it awkward is that I'm too concerned about the size, because if it's too small, people will comment, damn, dude is giving it thumbs up. Hey, that's engagement, dude. Who cares? But I feel like if I go too big, it'll probably reach that inappropriate territory. I'm not a glizzy expert, so it's hard to judge what is an okay shape. Look, I think you should follow your heart, dude. I think you should stop worrying what people on the internet say. You know, you ever like there's believe it or not, guys, I'm a Redditor, okay? And I frequent Reddit from time to time. And every time something gets posted in like an art subreddit and the chick is like too hot, everybody's just like, "Oh my god, does it have to be a big boobed lady? Do you always have to draw big boob lady?" It's like, "Yeah, dude. That's what I want to draw. Just let people do what they want to do. If you want to draw big throbbing like veiny hog, dude, do it. The world's your oyster." The whole like art police shit just like drives me nuts. It's like, dude, just don't look at it, okay? It's not that hard. Well, maybe it will be in your case, but yeah, I get it. So treat glizzy like you treat boobs, exactly. If we can over-sexualize women every single day in the media, we can over-sexualize men, okay? Give him a hog. Make it so big he has to carry it around in a wheelbarrow, dude. I don't care, you know? Hog him up. ugly like me. I think it broke off. Oh, the Statue of David hog. Okay. It's just very small. If that thing broke off, I'd be surprised. Maybe he'll lose a nut or two over time, but... You're right, he should live up to his name. What's his name, dude? Hogmeister? Porky Pink? I don't know. My username? Oh, oh, it's a self-portrait? Okay. That's funny. That just caught me off guard. I don't know. We were just talking about this the whole time. I don't know, I was describing you. Yeah, there you go. Give him a donkey dick, dude. Whatever you want. I definitely wouldn't call it a self-portrait. Well, it's inspired, okay? You're self-inspired. Based on a true story is what we'll say. Your donkey sewing him. Exactly. Okay, I think I got a good little base here. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to get one head down. The reason being, I want to port it over to a new canvas, and I want to do some more sketches. I just kind of wanted to get a little warmed up, you know. So now we're gonna move over here. We're gonna carry him over. Of course, not shown. Is revere me? It's not shown. Now we'll do another one. Oh, that brush. I did once break, never mind, I shouldn't say this story. Did you just break someone's cock, dude? What are you talking about? You're gonna hurt my dick if you start talking about broken dicks. I've never broken my dick, but I've had a couple scary moments. Fellas, here's a little lesson. You can break your dick, okay? So be careful out there. It goes crack like a glow stick. Kim, no, shut the fuck up. Oh my god. It's probably, the glow stick is probably like the best analogy, because it's basically just filled with liquid. It does not glow though, no, but you know. Should I try and draw a lady? I feel like I never draw ladies. I need to figure out some shorthand for women, because I'm really not good at drawing women. At least not with this brush. I can draw with another brush. But I feel like I end up in two different stylistic territories, you know? Dick and A, how you doing? Thank you for the Gigantify. It's not shown. Everything I know. Not my time. I'm not cool. Just getting home and hanging in. How about everybody else? Oh, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. Maybe you should try drawing a capybara instead of women. Where's this capybara coming from? You've been hanging out with Molasses? I just like capybaras, dog. Okay. Alright, I believe you. I believe you. So how's that mom you're living with? Full disclosure, everyone. I don't live with my mom, unfortunately. I'm a solo liver. I live alone. Just me and the fear of smacking my head on the ground and dying by bleeding out. Okay, we gotta do lady eyes, okay? I gotta figure out lady eyes here. I also gotta not make it front on. Every time I draw a lady, she's never 3/4. He doesn't live with her, they have a long distance relationship. That's right. No, your mom, that guy's mom in the UK. Nancy? That guy Nancy? Yeah, it's, I flew in this morning. Private, first class. Paid for by her mom, because she loves me, dude. I was dicking around and broke something with it. Did you knock a vase over? That guy Yancey. That's right. Yancey Beardist. It's a very small eyeball. Okay, we gotta get serious. Chat, how do I draw women? Smaller head. Not too small. I want it to feel in the same universe. Smush the face, that's right. Round the corners. Remove the extra detail lines. Thin the brows. Make the top lid a little thicker. Very, very small face here. That's the fun part. They don't exist. Just because you can't imagine them doesn't mean they're not real. Okay, they can still get you. You're never safe, Mike. It feels very generic. You know, it's kind of boring. It's gotta be a better way to do this. You know, the answer is probably look at reference, but I'm just gonna freeball it for a little bit until I figure it out. Aren't you the professional artist here? I'm trying. You know, there's only so much I know. Looks like a girl's eye. Make huge anime eyelashes. That kind of goes hard, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little extreme. A little extreme. Maybe I tone it down a little bit. I feel like you're attacking my character with those lashes. Wait, you don't like my girl's big lashes, dude? Oh shit. Oh shit. Nancy? You raid little old me? Shit. How was your game of Peak, Nancy? How'd it go? No, because I put large lashes on my character? Based. I usually give them like no lashes. I think that's why I struggle with drawing women so much. Absolutely peak. Did you peak? How many of you guys peaked all at once? Terrible? Horribly? Bro, what'd you do to your chat? What? I'm peaking? Me too, dude. Me too. With a raid like this, I'm peaked the heck up, dude. Nancy. Can we get a little shout out for Nancy? Where my mods at? I know you're here, Jadu. I know you're here, J-Dog. Throw a little SO for your homegirl. Last category, peak. Nancy, I know you're transitioning to being a gamer girl, but if you want to share any artwork that you've been working on recently, you're more than welcome to. And with that, I think a lot of you guys probably know who I am, because I hang out in Nancy's chat every now and then, and you guys have definitely rated in here before. But right now what we're doing is we're going through, not that. We did a new face here, and I'm starting a new canvas of faces. And probably more than faces. I should probably try and do more than faces. Because I feel like faces are a thing that I tend to default to, but there's so much out there to draw, you know? We're taking a little break from the whoop, not that one. We're taking a little break from the animating. Whenever I say that, it sounds like I'm drawing something sus. I'm not. I'm just drawing something super duper secret. Ooh, it's not secret, but I'm making it secret for fun. So this is what we were doing last week, and I'm kind of tired of working on this. I'm gonna figure it out on my own time eventually. But for now, we're just gonna go back to drawing whatever the fuck I feel like, just so we can take a little break. And I told myself I was gonna draw some ladies, because I don't draw a lot of ladies, dude. I don't draw a lot of ladies. The last lady we did was probably Nancy's character, which I think is over here. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how I feel about the rendering on it. I really like the line art. Actually, I could just pull the line art out here. Where's the line art? I think this is the one. Yeah, I like the way the line art looks. I did not like the way that the rendering came out. Personally, I feel like I could have done a lot better. I tried to blast through it a little bit, but hell yeah for drawing ladies. Hell yeah, dude. Lays and laddies. That's right. Love the pencil sketch and the render, to be honest. I'll take it. I'll take it. Also, hi Snack Chat. Hey Nancy dearest. How you doing? Is it weird hearing me say your full name? Nancy, do you want to drop any links? You wanna send us some art you're working on, some Blue Sky links, Instagram, Reddit, OnlyFans, Rule 34, Fur Affinity. It's like all the websites I know. Whatever you want, dog. The floor is yours. Guys, what the fuck are we listening to right now? Who's queuing up ICP? Danny. You're gonna turn my chat into juggalos, dude. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Let's pull this up. Let's get rid of this stupid timeline before we do. Check out Nancy's drawing. Check out Nancy's drawing. How long does it take you to do this? Because these are definitely like, they're like quick paints from what it looks like. Because you were banging out a lot, right? You were just fucking banging them out one after the other. I'm gonna say these are less than an hour each. Probably less than an hour each. 1 hour? Yeah, that makes sense. It looks good, dude. Well, Nancy, where can we follow you? Show us where we can follow you. Thanks, man. No worries, girl. Guys, I really don't quite like these fucking eyelashes. Whatever, we're just gonna keep doing it. Follow me on Instagram. I can't click the follow button again or it'll unfollow, unfortunately. I'm already following. And Nancy, of course, you know the deal. You don't gotta hang around if you got shit to do. If you got things to do, places to be, people to see, whatever. Don't let me hold you up. The art in her username is gone. Fake Nancy. She's broadening her horizons, dude. She's a variety streamer. She's not like me. Nah, it's cool. I like hanging here. Very nice. Yeah, man, I'm Nancy Dearest Gamer now. Nancy Dearest No Art. She's gonna start saying gamer things soon, huh? Is that what's happening? They grow up so fast. One day they're drawing art, next day they're drawing nothing. And they're playing Peak. VTuber shenanigans. My girl's in the next room. Sometimes I wish it was you. What a fucked up song. Never really moved on. It's really good to hear your voice. Well, my name sounds so sweet. The lips of an angel. It makes me weak. And I never wanna say goodbye. I don't know why when I draw women, they look so pissed off all the time. My girl's in the next room. Sometimes I wish she was you. Never really moved on. Is that how women look at you? It could be, dude. Maybe that's where my visual library comes from. Just a bunch of pissed off women looking at me all the time. At least they're looking at me, you know? Hearing those words, it makes me weak. With the lips of an angel. Oh my God. Saying my name, it sounds so sweet. The lips of an angel. Hearing those words, it makes me weak. No. With the lips of an angel. I don't know why I'm doing these expressions. With the lips of an angel. I cannot. This is not serious. What am I doing? Say a slur. Go ahead. The floor is yours. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. I'll time you out. This is not serious, bro. This cannot be the way I draw women. What the fuck? It looks like a nut face. It does not look like... That's just your gooner brain, bro. It does not look like a nut face. That's 100% a nut face. What up, Piss Earth? It's not a nut face, dude. It's not a nut face. I cannot draw women seriously. I don't know why. Here, I gotta restart, bro. I don't like the direction this chick is going. She's not coming herself. I don't even know what that looks like on a woman, okay? There's no way I'm doing it from imagination. Like she got kicked in the balls. A little box kick. Little kickboxing. What's your favorite out of the portraits I did? Out of the portraits you did? I really like the American one. Actually, no. I like the hillbilly one. The one you recently posted on Instagram. Probably this one. So let me look through all of them. I do really like the blonde one too, with the sunglasses. I like this one. I also really like I just like the nose shape and just the general face shape. It feels like on this one here, on this lady, it feels like this lady's face shape belongs in a cartoon, but you've captured it in like a realistic way. It's like almost like a caricature, but it's not. Like I could see someone existing like this, but it's such an interesting face shape. I don't know. So probably those two are like my top ones, I think. By the way, I'm deleting this. You guys can all screech and cry in chat. I'm doing another one. She was so pointy. I know, I see that. No. As much as I want to draw that head, I gotta draw ladies, bro. Snack is anti-lady. I'm not anti-lady nut. I just don't know what that looks like, and I can't do it justice, you know? So, Mr. Snack, can I ask for a critique, but not of my piece? I want to redraw something to learn, but I think the structure's way off, and I want an opinion if I should even use this as a learning piece. I have like a policy, just because I've had people ask me to do critiques of other people's work. I don't really offer critique on other people's stuff. I think you should just draw whatever you want, you know? Just, I feel like critiques are one of those things that people should ask for, you know? I don't know. I was drawing a dude again there. Just pretend that it's yours and lie. I'll do yours, Piss Earth. Send it in. It just feels weird, I think, to just be like pulling up somebody else's thing and then just being like, well, you know, I'd fix this and this and this and this. But if you have like a base structure and you want to submit that, I could tell you how I think it differs from what your goal should be, or how to sort of like tailor your objective. That's totally fine. I don't think there's a thing that like I would say like I would never use this as reference, or that, well, it depends, I guess. Depends what your objective is and what your goal is. On the front door. So Mr. Snack, he doesn't know. What are we talking about? Yeah, right. It's the thumbnail for Yofukashi no Uta. Yofukashi's song? Is that what it is? mean, I can look it up. Yofu Kashi no Uta. Sure, dude. If you want to draw that, you know? There's no... Look, I think there's no actual, like, limits on what you can draw. Just draw whatever you feel like drawing. If you're drawn to, like, anime stuff, and you want to do, like, super weeby art all the time, do it, you know? Just chase whatever you want. If you want to draw guys with big dripping, massive hogs, like Donkey, then do that too. I encourage you. If you want to draw chicks with big tits getting pounded down gorilla style, I'm not gonna stop you, dude. The world is your oyster, okay? I think it's all valid. If you want to draw some ass and titties, do that too. Yeah, just not mine. Snack supporting the arts? That's right. Gatekeeping art or being like, I can't believe you're drawing that, is the most annoying thing on planet Earth, dude. Just draw whatever you want. Nobody cares, cause I'm alone in the world. Dude, I'm learning. Also with Aphantasia, I can't draw what I want right now. Man, don't blame Aphantasia. I know tons of artists with Aphantasia, Mike. Tons, okay? The guy that I'm bringing on stream next Saturday, who's a fantastic artist, he's got Aphantasia. Having Aphantasia doesn't stop you from being able to produce good art, you know? Or at least practicing. Don't create limitations for yourself. That might seem harsh and a little aggressive, but if you get into the mentality of sort of like, you know, shutting down your possibilities before you actually try them, it's like, yeah, you're gonna have a much harder time to do things. Next Saturday collab, yeah, next Saturday, painted Knave. I keep calling him his old name. I keep dead naming him. Yeah, Painted Knave is gonna be on stream with us on Saturday, doing chatter submitted critiques. He's live right now, but he'll be here next Saturday. You're not going to demo Yofukashi no Uta for an aspiring young artist? No, I'll give critique on if you look, Mike. If you do a drawing of that Yofukashi no Uta, I gotta read it every time. You could submit that along with the reference you used, and I can tell you where it's different from the reference, where I think you're sort of going off the directional path, all that stuff. But you need a base to actually submit, you know? That's sort of the way the critiques work. I wanna see your work, you know? Is that fair? Just but fair. Like Tuco Salamanca. What was it? Harsh but fair? Or what was the thing he says? Low-key, that's just how things are, Aphantasia or not. Yeah, exactly. Like, I struggled fucking forever. And I was like, am I ever gonna be a good artist? And you're gonna always have those thoughts, dude. And they never go away. That's just the straight up truth. It never goes away. You're always gonna be partly miserable. Get comfortable existing in that space, because it's gonna be with you no matter your skill level. And there's gonna be times where you want to fucking punch your Wacom tablet in the face because you can't tolerate how frustrating it is for you to draw that day. And that's just the way she goes, you know? To be fair, you've been overwhelmed with art already. My corruption can only happen over time. Yeah, once I get through some of these commissions, I'll get to do more personal shit. Ugh, commissions. Flat is back. Oh, sweet relief, dude. My back is killing me there. You're freeing me up, Jwen. Nah, I get what you're saying, but like the face is super off with the feature placement, in my opinion, and if I redraw it how I see it, that's like so hard for me. Anyways, thank you, Mr. Streamer. Oh, okay, so you have like a drawing that you've done. Yeah, you could post your drawing along with the reference, and I can give you feedback on that. I thought you were telling me to look at the reference and give feedback on the reference. But if you have a drawing, then yeah, I'll look at that. You're free! I am, dude. No, the thumbnail is off, in my opinion. It's a thumbnail, dude. You've barely even drawn it if you're only doing thumbnails still. What's wrong with the thumbnail, do you think? You can post it. I'll take a look. But you gotta give it a chance, you know? I don't like this, like, Whoville-ass nose. No, the thumbnail is off, in my opinion. Like the official one. I wanted to use it to learn. Hey, you think the reference... I mean, your answer here is choose a different reference. If you think the reference is not working, and you think you're going to learn something incorrectly, don't use that reference, you know? I follow you now. By the way, Piss Earth, I don't know if you're still around, but there's another chatter in the community who also has a very similar name to you, and she is obsessed with sucking toes, dude. And so like when you commented earlier, if it weren't for the first time chatterbox, I just thought you were Piss. That's what we call her around here, Piss. Celunarion, do a jiggle? Shit. You know it, dude. Is that not Piss? It's not Piss. We have a lot in common, it seems. Seems so. No, Piss changed her name. I don't know what the fuck what her name is now. It's something that she changes her name like every fucking stream. And then one time she came in and said some crazy shit. I was like, bro, I'm banning you. I don't know you like that. And then she was like, no, it's Piss. And I was like, oh. Stop changing your name. I thought it was just another Piss rebrand. No, it's a completely new human being. Never seen before, brand new. Totally anonymous and mysterious. We have 2 Pisses in chat now that love sucking toes, allegedly. Actually, the thing is, she doesn't even like sucking toes. I tell her she likes sucking toes because it pisses her off. But she likes licking souls, apparently. I don't know what the fucking difference is. It's all the same shit. She's really taking the piss. That's right. Flat is back? Oh, shit. Oh, sweet release, dude. This is the most awkward drive home. Listening to the stream with my brother next to me after telling him that I listened to you stream for great advice. What was I saying that was not great advice? I gave you fantastic advice on drawing cocks, dude. You're the one who wanted advice on drawing dicks. It's not my fault you got into the car with your relative. That's funny. It reminds me, I had this YouTube chatter a while ago who was like, he was very clearly like a little kid, right? Because sometimes on YouTube, they don't see like the 18 plus thing, so they just come in and they start saying shit or whatever. And this kid in particular, he was like, hey man, can you swear less? I'm listening to you at full blast in my living room next to my grandma and she's getting mad at me. I'm like, nah, dude. Nah, fuck that, bro. Deal with it. And then we banned him. He's like, you swear too much. This is very uncomfortable. Before we had age restrictions, I always got like weird shit like that. I would have like, I got raided once by this Minecraft streamer. And he came in with, I swear to God, they must have all been like fucking 10-year-olds or something. Because somebody queued up a rap song with the N-word in it. And this one lady was like, hey, this is racist, dude. You can't be playing this. Like, what are you talking about? What? What are we talking about right now? Do a jiggle? Shit, you know it, dude. You know it, dude, Silunarion. It be jiggling. I just keep trying to free him from the booba. You don't want me to have big massive hogs, dude, or honkers? To be honest, he doesn't know my name is Danny Donkey PNG, so he name dropped me for drawing hogs. I was like, I wonder what that guy was trying to do. And I went from there all the way to talking about piss. Well... Okay, that's on you, dude. I don't take any blame in this. Alright? You made your bed. By the way, are you doing critiques today? I wanted your opinion on the logo I made for myself. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'll do some crits. It's fine. You can keep the honkers. I'll save my points for now. But you ran out of money, Joanne? I thought you were balling, huh? I'm just kidding. Keep your points. I don't spend channel points, like, ever. I'm actually, like, the cheapest ever. How dare you? There you go. Baited. Flat is back. Oh, sweet release. It doesn't cost me anything. It's pure engagement. Luckily, I have a family where we find awkward situations hilarious and laugh it off. That's good, dude. I think my family's kind of similar. My dad's probably worse than me, to be quite honest. My dad says stupid shit just for, like, shock value. Where I'm like, oh my god, dude, you cannot say shit like that. That's true. I have points to spend them. I like lurking here anyways. Fools, save the points for the collab. What collab? Next Saturday. Oh yeah. I mean, I guess I've said it a couple times. I'll drop her announcement in the Discord. But I'm gonna have Painted Knave on stream next week, aka PK. He's gonna be on stream, and we're gonna be doing chatter feedback. He's gonna focus more on like rendering stuff, and I'll probably focus in on anatomy and all that bullshit. Oh, I wasn't here when you mentioned it. That's right. I'm gonna drop a Discord notification probably today or tomorrow. In the way you're waiting. Dude, my grandfather was born in 1954, and he says the most outlandish shit that feels like that feels complimenting and insulting at the same time. The backhanded compliments. It's up. What's up? Oh, the critiques. I was like, what are we talking about here? Okay, a lot of these are going to be things that I think I went over last time. Ooh, we got a big one. So, I think I was giving you, like, feedback in your chat or whatever. But what I really was trying to say was I think, like, the head needs to come way forward. I'm going to do it in blue. Just because, like, the posture should really be a lot more... Like, when I was saying curve the back, what I meant was bring the back, like, curved down like this almost. And the same with the front here. If this is your rib cage, your guy's, like, body proportions are a little weird. Your shoulder, I think, would be a little bit farther back like this. The head would be probably a lot more forward. Like, quite a bit forward. And even probably actually tilted down slightly. The neck probably be something like this. You want it to be profile, huh? I mean, it would make sense for a profile picture. I feel like, yeah, you can do a profile. I like, personally, mine's 3/4, you know? Mind you, your guy doesn't really have eyes, so it doesn't really matter that much to be honest. It really is just sort of like the angles on stuff. Also, I mean, I don't have any reference in front of me, but you need to redo the arms. Probably entirely, I would say. They're very, very, very wonky. I'm trying to think. If I'm standing like this, my elbows come in way forward. I'm trying to think. Yeah, okay, maybe the arm wouldn't actually be back here. I'm going through the pose right now while I'm sitting here. Your shoulder would be rounded, so it'd be coming out like this, probably, on the other side. Try to think. Basically shooting straight down. I'm trying. Would you tuck your arm? Yeah, you'd probably tuck this arm in. And then the other arm would be just the fingertips. I still don't feel like that's super duper right. I also think the torso needs to come out more. I don't discriminate against skin color. Back in my day, I would bang chicks of all shades. Danny Donkey Grandpa. That's kind of based, actually. I guess for somebody born in the 50s, that's progressive. I'll allow it. At least Grandpa's not a racist, you know? Still think the head needs to come forward more. There are worse things he could have said for somebody born in the 50s. That's all I'll say, you know? If he was banging black chicks in the 50s, he can't be that racist. That would be a controversial take, I guess, but... Assuming you're a white man, I suppose, but... What also helps me is using mannequins, especially if you get them from posing. From a posing site. Yeah, you could just take a photo, set a timer. If you've got stairs in your house, set a timer. And just sort of like, you know... put your phone on the stairs and do some posing. Anyways, I would probably change the proportions up a little bit more like this. I still think they're kind of weird a little bit. So I'm just thinking like his head's kind of big. He's got a bit of a big old head. Octo Gear, how you doing? How you doing, Octo? We're doing chatter feedback right now. Like this. By the way, Octo, I saved my 5-stream streak on your channel today. I missed your midday stream because I was at work, but I got a little notification that was like, save your 5-stream streak. Hell yeah. For those who don't know, Octo's a fantastic streamer here on Twitch. Octo, I guess this is probably relevant to you because I know you're a PK enjoyer. PK is going to be on stream here next Saturday doing community feedback with me. This is just my opportunity to shill that stream. I don't know why I'm debating so hard on whether I'm giving this guy a bulge or not. It's not really going to matter because it's a profile picture, but... Anyways, yeah, I think these are sort of some of the major changes I would make. I would tilt the head down. It's a little bit more natural of a resting position. I mean, I guess, you know, if he really is blind Jadu, then yeah, he would probably be looking off into space like this, because, you know, spatial orientation is not that relevant if you're completely blind. But if you're going for like an appealing sort of flowy pose, I would give him a little bit of a tilt. Shill it for what it's worth? Exactly. Exactly. How's your stream, dude? Are you still working on that Zelda piece? I think I popped in a little bit, and I think you were doing something else. I think you were drawing some other characters, if I remember correctly. I'm still playing through Ocarina of Time, dude. I'm on the water temple now, which is like the biggest bitch of a temple ever, dude. It's just so poorly designed. Like, it's not even, well, it's hard, but it's also like, I feel like if you guys have ever played Ocarina of Time on N64, the water temple, spoiler alert, this is like a fucking 30-year-old game at this point, but spoiler alert, you have to wear like these iron boots, and the only way to change them is to go into the menu and swap them off manually. It takes fucking forever, and you have to swap them like 1,000 times in the temple. It's so annoying. I know on the GameCube version, is it the GameCube, or there's one of the newer versions, maybe the 3DS, if they're, or is that just Majora's Mask? I don't know. But I know on the newer versions, they fucking made it so that you can just make the boots like an item, which is so much better. But I'm playing the classic on Switch too. So I spent way more money to play the shittier version, but it's authentic at least. Anyways, Jadu, that's my feedback. Tilt the head down. Give him a little bit of a longer neck here. Probably find some reference to figure out sort of the shoulders. I kind of just guesstimated them, but I feel like the way I did them is still a little wrong. I think they'd be maybe a little wider. Let's see. You're gonna need to do some foreshortening, probably. It's very difficult. I'm gonna leave it kind of the way I had it before, just because I think it's got a better silhouette. It's still wrong though. I feel like I'm the only one who actually likes the water temple. You know, it's funny. Ocarina of Time is one of those games that I feel like I was really young when it came out, because it came out in like '99, and I would have been 5. So I probably played it when I was like 7-ish, and as a consequence of that, I didn't really play it. I basically had like an older neighbor who would have been like 10 at the time, and I watched him play it. I did watch like the whole thing. It was basically like a YouTube playthrough before they even existed. But yeah, anyways, all that to say, playing it now, that game holds up, bro. That game holds up crazy. Ocarina of Time, guys, if you haven't played any like video game from like the N64 era, and you want to play like a classic, but you're thinking to yourself, I don't like old video games. They're kind of wonky. They're kind of fucked up. Ocarina of Time, bro, it holds up. It's dope as fuck. Majora's Mask was always like my favorite, and so I'm biased. But Ocarina of Time definitely slaps. Okay, Jadu, this is what I'm going to leave you with. I think this is going to give you some better direction. My advice, again, you've heard it about 50 million times now. If you're doing things that you're not, or you've never done before, you're not very comfortable doing, you gotta use reference. You gotta use, like, I would personally, like, I'm drawing this from imagination right now, but if I were doing this for my own piece, like the arms, I'm using reference. You gotta. You gotta. It's gotta be law for you, bro. So I'll send you this. I played the GameCube version, never owned an N64. A friend of mine in first grade, her brother had an N64, but he didn't let us play. We're an asshole. I guess that's like classic older brother shit, but... To be honest, my brother's 5 years younger than me. I would not want him playing my shit. My brother's lost like tons of my things. Like, this is my second Blue Yeti, because my brother had a phase where he wanted to be a rapper, and he lost my old one. Even though then he just gaslit me and told me he didn't, but I know for a fact he did. Anyways, it's a lot of shit like that, so I don't blame the older guy, but... Alright, Jadu. There you go. Did we have other shit in the critique channel that I've been neglecting? My little babies. I don't know if Cut Marrow's still here. Cut Marrow, I don't have a lot to add. Honestly, I think you're overthinking it too much. I think the beak design is nice. If you want my advice, I don't know if you're still here or not, but I would just tone down. I'm here. Here, you know what? I'll go over it. I'll go over it. I think it's, first of all, I think it's a great piece. I would, like, honestly, if this was on a shirt, I think it'd be sick. Come on, you... Holy fuck, this thing's gonna be huge, isn't it? My computer's chugging. There we go. Holy. I'll be forever mad about him losing Pokemon Silver and Metal Gear Solid 3 for the 3DS. They're both mad expensive now. Yeah, okay, I had a buddy who borrowed a bunch of N64 games from me. I have like 2 stories like this, actually. One of them's kind of sad, so I try to not get mad about it. I'm not really mad about it, but I had a buddy that in like 2nd grade borrowed a bunch of N64 games from me, and then he moved to fucking Kenya because his parents were like diplomats or some shit. Okay, and so I will never see those video games again. And he had like, I gave him like Pokemon 2, like a whole Pokemon Stadium 2, a whole bunch of sick ass N64 games. And then I say friend. This guy was like more like an acquaintance in high school, but I think like it was one of those things where years after graduating high school, we reconnected. I say years later, like 2 or 3 years or whatever. And I wasn't very close with him. The direction of this story gets a little dark, okay? So I wasn't close with him, just for context. But I was close enough to trust him to lend him a bunch of PS3 games. And I lent him like, you know, Fallout, Skyrim, like all the classics. And then he died. He died in a car accident. Okay, this is like, took a really dark turn here. Okay. I was not super close, for context, but he died in a car accident, and so I'm not worrying about those games, I think. But those are my 2 instances of losing games forever. Anyways, Cut Marrow, on a lighter note. Sorry about that, guys. Damn, you really wanted those games back, huh? No. I cannot imagine going to like a grieving mother and being like, hey, you know your child's belongings? Yeah, some of those are mine. I'm gonna need them back. Like, that would be fucking psychotic, bro. I just like kind of one of those things where it's like, oh man. Keep them, I guess. I've had worse, believe it or not. Do I want to know? If we're trauma dumping, I guess now's the time. I mean, it's bad, but still. Okay, I'm ready. Could you imagine showing up to the funeral? Bro, I'd have to be the biggest fucking, like, Nintendo chud on the planet to show up and be like, actually, can I get my video games back? Nah, dude. Well, you can't just tease me like that, Octo. What the hell? You can't just be like, I got a worse story. Oh, it's so bad. It's such a bad story. You wouldn't be able to handle it. Nah, I'm not gonna tell you. Nah, I couldn't. Come on, Octo. You set the stage. I won't pressure you. I won't pressure you. Men will do anything to dodge accountability. Shit. Yeah, exactly, dude. Fuck. I should laugh about that. God damn. Okay. All this to say, you said you didn't like the beak. I think the beak looks great. One thing I would say is maybe what you could do is move this head over. And, my ex-boyfriend committed, actually. Well, I think you're missing a word there. And if it's the word I'm thinking of. Did he sewer slide? As the kids say. Right after I didn't want to take him back, so... yeesh. A sewer slide, yes. I'm tugging on my collar right now, dude. We're gonna... Alright, Cut Marrow. All this to say, this is a great piece. This is a great piece. I think it's sick, okay? And I've said this like a fucking million times now. I think what you could do is you could probably maybe tweak the head direction so you get more of like a... You know what? I do like the head. It just feels a little busy in this area, you know? Maybe I would get rid of this, like, spot behind here. Let me see how that looks if I just paint over it. Just so that the head reads a little bit less cluttered. Yeah, see how, like, just changing that just made it feel so much more like it just reads better. I would probably honestly just ditch the tongue. I would just go no tongue. Just because I don't think it reads very well. I lost my all-time favorite t-shirt, and I'm mad about that, actually. Yeah, you're never getting that shit back, dude. You gotta move on from the t-shirt, to be clear. Fair and valid. Maybe I'm tripping. Whoa, hey, whoa, what the fuck? I meant to do that on another layer. That's why I was, like, undoing all that. What the fuck? Yeah, nah, I moved on. Don't worry about it. Oh, I wasn't worried. Fucking psychotic conversation, dude. Okay, yeah. I would just say, like, creating more space around here is going to help the head read a little bit better. You could also tone down some of the line weight here, and maybe that'll help with the readability. Like, I think if you're going to have thick-ass lines, dude, don't have them be thicker behind an overlapping form. Have the line that overlaps be thicker. I just think it'll help read a little bit better. In my experience, anyways. I think that versus... I've made your tongue see like doesn't that reads a lot cleaner to me. Now the tongue, I'm gonna also delete. I mean, actually just leave a bit of it, almost like it's part of the texture, just because I feel like it wraps the form really nicely, but... That versus that. I just feel like it definitely, like, reads a lot nicer. Off to Betty buys. Good night, Snack Man. Good night, Nancy Dearest. Thank you for the raid again. Have a good night. I'm glad you managed to peak today. You deserved it. Now for the beak. The beak, I would say, the issue is not sort of the hatching. I think the hatching's nice. What I would do is tone down some of the hatching around the middle of the beak. I think you've got a lot of, like, extra thick hatching on the sides, which is great. I don't know if you were here for the segment where I was talking about how I do my hatching, but essentially if you have a cylinder, right? Fuck. The closer you get to the edge of the form, oh my god, dude. The closer you get to the edge of the form, the thicker and tighter your line should be, okay? That's usually how I do things. So it'll be thick, 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 thick. As you go towards the middle, it gets looser and looser and looser. It's basically just showing where the light's catching. The thicker regions are, like, you know, where the light is not catching, or is where it's getting trapped. And so it helps create, like, I'm zooming out here so that you can sort of see, because my hatching is dog shit, but you could feel the form changing direction by doing that. And so I think, you know, that's why I'm sort of erasing out a little bit here. I think what you could probably do is also just sort of add a little bit more hatching on the edges. Also, I got a little follow. I'm not neglecting my new baby. Zingy Zoogle. Thank you for the follow. What a crazy name. Just sort of cleaning a little bit that up, giving some breathing room. Like, you feel how, like, the difference there, like, where you, if you clear out a lot of the middle hatching, like, especially this big chunk here, it just sort of feels like the form is a little more logical. And it's just, like, it's really, really, really subtle stuff. There's a lot of clutter, I guess, in this area as well. How would I fix that? Because the snake is white and the beak is white-ish, I'm wondering what happens if I just paint in like a black form here. It gives a little resting space. I'm just experimenting. I don't know that this is going to work at all, you know? I'm just sort of thinking how I could sort of funnel things visually up this chain here. So that's sort of what I'm thinking of. I'm gonna look at it real zoomed out here just to see if the composition is working. I don't know. But this whole area here, I would tone down some of this and give it a little bit more space for the snake to breathe. Because this is like the focal area of your piece, right? So everything around this focal area should serve that piece, or that point. I took a lot of your advice about being really intentional about a focal point. I mean, it shows. It shows. I think there's just some gestural stuff that's conflicting still a little bit with this area in particular around here. And I think also maybe if you continued this way, this is like a wing, right? And then that's his torso. Because this wing is closer to us, you can actually, you see how there's a textural difference between sort of this part of the wing and then the fur here? Would it? No, I don't really know how duck wings work. I don't know if I would just continue this, just to break things up visually a little bit. Like, I would continue this textural stuff up to there, maybe. And then tone down some of this stuff. Honestly, though, I think this piece is salvageable. I think you should keep working on it. I think you make some tiny little adjustments. I'm trying to see, like, just taking away detail in these areas too, maybe. Like, I feel like, yeah, just clearing out some of that stuff just visually reads a little bit cleaner to me. Obviously, there's some red bullshit all over it, but... And I know when you're doing this stuff over here, you're trying to show the twists in the form, and that's totally valid, dude. I just think over-detailing takes away a little too much. I also wonder if, like, having some rest areas here could help. Like, let's say if the light source is at the top here, maybe taking out some of the texturing here. Maybe not all of it. Like, now it feels like there's less detail here, and as you're going down, it gets a little bit more detailed. My wife bought some barbecue-flavored chips, and they don't mix well with my energy drink at all. I feel like barbecue chips are just kind of... I feel like they're so overrated, dude. I don't know. If you've ever been to Canada, we have all dressed chips. That shit is just like better barbecue, to be quite honest. Yeah, I think removing a lot of that texturing kinda helps. it creates more value contrast when you have these inner parts not as rendered. Because now you have sort of like very clear areas for your eye to sort of rest as you're going through this complex piece. You know, whereas if you have it all filled in, it feels a little bit, yeah, cluttered and excessive. Though I do recognize that you did tone down a lot of the detailing based off what I said last time, but I think you could push it more. You know, maybe this is too much what I've done here, but it's really just more of like an example. I don't know. Hopefully that helps. I'll send you that for now. I'll throw in the cylinder here just so you get an idea for the... I'll drop that in the Discord for you. I could try to rework some areas. I just think I'm fed up with it. Yeah, dude. I mean, like, sometimes you just need a little breaky poo, you know? I'm a sour cream and onion girly, though. Through and through. Sour cream and onion is delicious. I'm a salt and vinegar guy. Jalapeno. I love me some jalapeno chips. What else? Dill pickle, too. I like a good dill pickle. Sweet chili heat. Ooh, shit. Now we're talking. I'm sure I'll pick it back up tonight or tomorrow. Thanks, King. Anytime, big dog. Don't mention it. I just cannot draw women in like with this brush pen. It's so difficult. I really don't like this one either. I'm probably gonna switch it up. Salt and vinegar's a first. It sure is, dude. Salt and vinegar is so sick. You guys are edging me right now. I can't go get chips after this. I gotta be a good boy tonight, I think. I've been so naughty lately, you know? The pen is clearly sexist. It's the pen. It is the pen. It's gotta be. It can't be me, dude. You know what I'm jealous about with Canada? As a trucker, I'm jealous of a brand of truck y'all have available over there. Really, eh? Well, we're about to get Chinese EVs, too. We've struck a deal with the Chinese, and they're gonna send us EVs. I think the goal is to have them build a factory here, so we can get some non-American shit. Sorry, Americans. I don't like this eye. I just feel like the way I draw chicks right now is so same face syndrome. I struggle with it so much. I could do it really well with my other pen, but just not this one. I gotta find a shorthand. Is the metallic moose war over? Is that a reference to us battling the Americans economically? Unfortunately not. That shit's gonna be going on probably forever at this point. Like, I don't think it's going away. They did it themselves. They understand why it's happening. I know. I just don't want to rub it in too much. Two brands actually. One's Swedish and the other's Canadian built. Huh. Canada and Norway was having a feud over who had the biggest moose statue. You guys have moose in Norway? I mean, I guess you would. So who's got the bigger one? Dude, I have so many stories. I don't think I've probably seen a moose, but I live in like a city, so I don't come across them ever. I was gonna say not very often, literally 0 times. I've never been walking in like a neighborhood and been like, holy fuck. Tell me a moose story. So how long in the stream we still have? I'll probably go another hour, roughly. I'm chilling. It's Friday, so we're gonna do a lighter stream today, just because, you know, I worked all week, but... They're practically considered city rats over here. Isn't Norway small? I assume you live in Norway and you're not just talking about Norway. Norway population. 5 million. Bro, that's like a city here. It might be a big-ass city, but... It's like a few cities here. Yeah, like invasive? Just eat them, dude. What are you doing? You're human. Just go eat them. You could do that. Would you ever eat moose, Octo? I feel like, and I've talked about this with my boys quite a few times, but I really think we should start eating groundhogs. I look at them, and I feel like if you flayed them, and you put a little apple in their big buck teeth, and put them on a spit, they would be delicious. They would look like a one-piece ham, dude. They're like the perfect size. They're not like too small where they're not very meaty like a rabbit or like a squirrel. But they're not like too big where it's like, oh, this is too much. You know, it's like they're the perfect family dinner, you know? I just really think we should normalize eating groundhogs. And they're fucking everywhere. Be the change you want to see in the world. Oh, shit. Hey, quality over quantity, dude. We still got more Olympic medals than the US. Yeah, get him. Get him. All that matters to Canadians is hockey, and we lost to the Americans on that one. And I will time you out and/or ban you if you remind me. That wasn't directed at anyone. Just a general thing. I'm still very butthurt about that. But yeah, I've had moose. Do you like it? I find it funny that Florida has such an iguana problem and their government's like, have at them. If you see them, hunt them, cook them, sell them, whatever. Isn't it the same with like gators and like pythons and shit too? Hey, with the war crimes Canada committed during World War II, I wouldn't dream of bullying any Canadian. Technically, they weren't war crimes yet. Just saying. I like it. Moose salami is pretty good. Bro, I've been eating salami all week. I was like bargain hunting at the start of the week. and there's like this stick of salami that was like on sale, and I've just been fucking that shit up, dude. Salami's good. It gives you spicy shits though, which is a little unfortunate. Small price to pay though, you know. Been a hot minute since I last ate salami. Venosa, what are you waiting for? Go get some lami in your life, dude. That's how familiar I am with it. I got a nickname for it, you know? Get some Sally in your life, you know? Caraposa, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Pretty sure the Geneva Convention exists thanks to y'all. You know, I heard that. I feel like that's one of those things I'd have to fact check. I want to believe it. Deep down, I want to believe it. I want to believe that, like, the nice Canadian people are actually evil and we've created, like, laws to prevent Canadians from killing and maiming people. And stabbing them in the night. Or swapping out their canned foods with explosives. But I gotta believe that multiple people were doing that shit. You know, it's a war. Rules kind of go out the window during wartime. But who knows? This character looks a little young. I'm gonna do a little trick here and just make their face longer. Boom, now you're an adult. Congratulations. This is like the only pose I feel like I can draw good girl characters in. And when I say pose, I just mean like front on with like a subtle 3/4. Everything else just comes out so bland. I gotta figure out some shorthand here. Sigh. I think this page is gonna be a lot of ladies, just because I've been struggling with them. I think this nose needs to be a little bit less downturned either. She's more front on here. You said that and I checked my whips, they're all 3/4. I think the issue for me is, like, 3/4 is the perfect angle, okay? It's the angle that you should probably draw 80% of your characters in. And in fact, if you look at, like, media in general, most characters are going to be 3/4 to some degree. It's very rare that they're front on unless it's for some specific reason. But, yeah, I like, the more 3/4, like, really, like, a head that's, like, really a lot more like this. For ladies, I really struggle with it. I just don't have, like, a strong shorthand for it yet. Three-quarter angle is the best? It is, dude. Maybe I'll get some the next time I run over to the grocery store. Do it. Get some salami. Yeah, whenever, like, beginner artists are like, what should I practice? The answer is always 3/4 everything. Just fucking 3/4 everything, dude. You want to get a job in concept art? Get good at 3/4 poses. You want to get good at illustration? Get good at 3/4 heads at least. That's going to take probably a little bit more dynamic posing and stuff. But generally speaking, 3/4. 3/4 is probably the way to go. If you're doing, like, a lot of religious art, or, like, you know, religious symbolism, or, front on tends to play a little bit more of a role in, like, religious symbolism, I find. But it's still very, like, select. I feel like I can't really think of any good examples where I would use a very front-on pose outside of, like, maybe some sort of, like, monk praying, or, you know, I don't know, something with symmetry. I don't know. I don't do a lot of front-on poses, though, so I'm sure there are instances where it's appropriate, but really, guys, like, if you learn 3/4, you've trimmed down a lot of the struggling you're gonna have professionally, because I just feel like it's what's called for most times. Cheek's a little big here. Want to take a good piss in the shower? 3/4 angle. Exactly. I draw a lot of front-on portraits because my OC guy's main focus is his eyeballs. Yeah, okay, in your case, Kimdo, though, you're not doing, like, full-on symmetrical front-on poses as well, though, right? Like, that's more what I'm talking about. If you're doing, like, if you're drawing with the symmetry tool, that's sort of when things get flat. But even in your case, Kimdo, like, when you're doing front-on poses, you're drawing each eye independent of each other, I assume. Like, looking at your work, that's sort of the vibe I get. Like, I don't think you're drawing with a symmetry tool for front-on poses or whatever. I think if you're drawing, like, eyes, like, if you're doing, like, a front-on pose, but you're manually drawing each eyeball individually, there's gonna be some natural asymmetries in there that's gonna give it a little bit more appeal. And it's not to say that you should never draw front-on, but it's just... It's harder to execute, and I feel like it's a little bit more, like, finding the appeal in a front-on pose is just harder. In my opinion, okay? And maybe it's just my inexperience with it, and it could just be that. But I feel like it's a lot more forgiving to do 3/4 stuff. And because it's so common, it's just like a good base to start with. Front-on portraits that work top-down or bottom-up? Yeah, like the Kubrick stare shit, you know? Like, you move the ears up, and then you know... do, like, one of these. In your house, belong to me. Alone in my room. Anyways, just as an example. Again, though, guys, these are, like, not rules, right? Like, you don't have to, like, listen to exactly what I'm saying. There's tons of times that you could probably make, like, front-on stuff appealing. I just feel like we're generalizing. Most stuff appears in some form of 3/4 in a professional setting. So if you want to practice one thing, that's what I would do. A lot of front-on portraits tend to lack intrigue, in my opinion. Not artists, but non-artists tend to like pretty renders regardless. I think front-on has to really be sold with the eyes. Or lighting, or something. You know? Like, there has to be some sort of, like, accented, like, element to the piece if you're doing front-on. What I see is a lot of people just... and it's because they're beginners, and they're still not used to, like, knowing their proportions and measuring. But they'll do, like, symmetry tool stuff, or they'll do, like, you know, they'll just try and draw everything super straight and neutral, and they'll just have, like, the most neutral, like, face imaginable. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just you could push it more. And by virtue of, like, doing something 3/4, you're just sort of, it's not as flat, you know? Eyes or movement in the clothes, hair, environment, yeah, exactly. Some sort of, like, complementary or accented thing. Like angry brows, different shaped brows, whatever. You know, like some sort of asymmetry. want to give this girl like a mullet. Don't like that. Don't like that. Hair is so tricky, dude. So fucking hell, I managed to at least sketch that Yofukashi thing as I see. Did you hate that thing? I use front on for my tough pieces. Yeah, that works. Like the sort of threatening look. We were talking about that earlier, like the Kubrick stare shit. You can use front on for like tons of different stuff, you know? It's just that the appeal is not as much of a freebie. I don't like the way this is going. So now can I send it and talk about it, or are you tired already? No, you can send it. Like, you're sending your art, right? Like, not the reference. Well, I mean, include the reference as well, because I want to compare the two, but... Working with posing the hands can really help sell a front-on portrait as well. Yeah, that's a thing that I've utilized a lot. I don't know if I have it on some other canvas here or whatever. No, I never even drew these fucking hands. There's some drawings that I've done in the past. I'll see if I can find them. Where I definitely, like, I put a lot of emphasis on, like, the hands. Where the fuck? I have so many half-done canvases that all look the same. It's so hard to find. But you, like, there's an example that I read in a book, okay? I can't remember what the name of the book is. But essentially, what the book talks about is how the face and the hands are essentially, they're equal in terms of creating expressions in character poses. And you could take, like, I'll just skip the thing I'm trying to find right now. You could take examples of characters online, okay? Let me think of, I think I used Naruto as, like, an example. Let's use, I don't know. I'll just use something generic. I'll type Dragon Ball, see if I can find something. Here's an example. Here's a picture of Goku, okay? If I remove Goku's face from this, you could still tell what the emotion is in the pose. If I take out the head and torso, you could still tell what the emotion is in this pose, okay? Now, if I do the inverse, where I remove all of the hands and just leave the torso and the head, it's very, very, very difficult to tell what the expression is. Ignore the fact that, you know, I've erased out the background or whatever. Other than the fact that he's happy, it doesn't tell you much beyond that. Whereas if you keep the arms and the legs, but you remove the expression, you actually still capture a lot more of the essence of what the character is like feeling. And so it's really, really, really important to not skimp on hands and legs in particular, you know, or hands in particular and legs. You can really sell the drama, you can sell the emotion and the tone of the piece really, really, really well with the hands. But I feel like people put so much emphasis on just drawing faces that they're leaving so much emotion and depth to a character by neglecting the hands and the feet, right? Because they'll have like a character who has like this crazy expression, but that they're standing in this neutral position, you know, or they just got the classic hand on the hip, which, you know, I'm guilty of. But like, the point is, if you're really like, if your goal is illustration in particular, you got to think of all these things. They really, really help to sell things. Crip, what up, dude? How you doing? How's it going, Crip? I've noticed the feet too hold a lot of expression. Yeah, feet and arms, or legs and arms in particular, they are almost, honestly, if you want a hot take here, I think they're probably more important than facial expressions. I think you could probably give people neutral facial expressions, but if you have the arms and the legs working really well, they'll know what the feel is, right? Anime is actually a fantastic example of that. I'm trying to think of like, what's a good example? I feel like anime has like the stereotype of having this like emotionally neutral character all the time. But they always have like these really dramatic arm and leg poses. And I feel like, because the anime does like the whole stoic, I have no emotion in my face trope, but they still pose it really, really appealingly, right? Like, I can't remember, Aki, right? I couldn't remember the guy's name, so I typed up Sword Guy from Chainsaw Man. But this is a good example, right? Like, you could tell what's going on with the arms here, but the face is, like, if I just drew this face independent of, like, the body or the arms and the legs, he could be doing a fucking bazillion different things. But the second you remove the face and you just focus on sort of the arms and the legs here, less the legs in this particular case, but more the arms, like, you could tell he's either dangerous or he's getting ready for combat or whatever. And, yeah, anyways. Did you ever hide hands in pockets or behind backs when you started out, or did you just go ham from day one? Nah, I don't think for, like, the first year, I don't think I drew a single hand. And I always had, like, the thing where I was like, oh, my characters are just cool, they're stoic, you know? All that shit. I can actually see if I can find some of my old art. I'm gonna have to log into my old Instagram account, but let me see. I'll see if I can find it. I'll pull up some of my old art. This login info is incorrect. Well, fuck. Okay, well, maybe I don't remember my login. I disabled my account, so... yeah, whatever. Instagram web would like to access your Facebook account. I don't like that. Well, that's not working. Anyways, just trust me. I don't think I drew hands for like the first like year or whatever. He could be filing his taxes for all we know. Exactly. I did do my taxes recently. I'm a good boy, guys. I pay my taxes on time. Sade, thank you for the 5 months, dude. Shit, Sade, you got me over here blushing and shit. Damn. Sent in DC, like the facial features are facing straight at us, but the ears and brows are 3/4 kinda. Okay, I'll take a little look. Let me see. Let's see what we got. Too busy drawing paws. That's right. That's right. Always forget about the... Okay, this is your drawing here. This is Mike's drawing. And then this is the reference. Yeah, so the reference actually is correct. It's correct. I don't particularly, I mean, other than like stylistic differences from how I would draw things, I don't think, like, I would say this is like a correct pose anatomically, okay? So what you're saying is set to the DC, it looks like the facial features are facing straight at us, but the ears and the brow thing are kind of 3/4. Maybe a little bit on the far eye, but like, I think like generally speaking, the ears here to me indicate 3/4. Like you could see more of that ear and a way less of this ear, right? So we're already 3/4 there. The central point, like there's a thing that people do when they draw 3/4. This like cheek bump thing, especially in anime, is very much a 3/4 thing. Whenever you have this like C curve with like the S curve combination here, that indicates like a 3/4 anime head. A front-on anime head is a lot more symmetrical, and you kind of ignore cheekbones a little bit more. And so just the fact that they're adding in that little cheek curve here, I feel like it reads a lot more 3/4 to me. They've only got the one nostril showing. That's also another 3/4 thing. They've only got one fang showing. I mean, that's like a cutesy anime thing. And then they have the rest of the body 3/4. So the thing is, the body, head, hips can all rotate independent of each other because they're all anchored to different like spinal regions. So your head is tied to your cervical spine, which then connects to your thoracic spine, which controls sort of your rib cage and torso. And those can all articulate independent of each other. And then your hips would be attached to your lumbar spine. And so because you have these three like regions in your spine here, like with the cervical spine sort of having this curve, thoracic spine, if you're built like me and you're shrimp the heck up, dude, I'm just kidding. The thoracic spine is sort of like this this curve here, and then the lumbar spine is kind of like this. And so you get this actually, I don't think I did that right. I did that incorrectly. I'm trying to think. Rib cage, hips. Something like that. Something like that. This is, and so because you have all of these sort of different spinal connections here, your body can rotate at these points independently of each other to an extent. Obviously, you can't spin your head around like an owl or whatever, but you can get a lot of like spinal rotation. So her head can be 3/4 here, while her torso is even more 3/4 going this way. If she had legs, her legs could be probably front on. Be a little weird. They'd probably also be like 3/4-ish, with maybe like an opposing hip tilt. Like if the head is tilting this way, maybe the hip comes up the opposing way, doing a little contrapposto. I don't know. But the point is, I don't think there's anything too anatomically incorrect with your reference, other than maybe a little bit of eye direction stuff. But I think it works for the anime style really well. But it's not about critiquing this piece, because I think this is probably better than what I could produce, to be quite honest. But yeah, so with yours, there are a little bit of like subtleties with anime, and this is not just anime, this is just anatomy in general. So you see how you have the skull sort of change direction right here into the cheek? One thing that I think if you apply this, it'll help you avoid this mistake in the future, and this is like, it's not a hard rule, but it's kind of a hard rule. If you make sure that that change of direction lines up with the corner of the eye here, or the sort of the change of direction on the eye from upper lid to bottom lid, you're going to hit the mark a lot more accurately. If I look at this piece here, oops, I'm drawing on a different layer. Let me just undo all this so I can draw on a separate layer and not draw over the source reference. Oops. If you look here, the corner or where the eyes change direction, is roughly here. And if I drag this line out, it's more or less lines up with where the sort of forehead bone and the cheekbone also alter directions. And if you look at the way I draw heads, you'll notice that literally everywhere. So the corner of the eye is... Oops. The corner of the eye is like here. It's also where my brow bone and cheekbone change direction. Brow bone, cheekbone change direction. It always more or less lines up with that corner. It doesn't have to. There's different anatomy, but if you want to simplify things and generalize things a little bit so that you're guessing a little bit less, that's probably a good thing to apply. This guy's got like hair and stuff, so it's a little harder to see, but yeah, this guy's his eye corner is a little higher up, but still it's more or less lined up, you know? Even with these like downward or these upward rotations, downward rotations, they're all kind of lining up. You said, so basically the bulge of the forehead, so basically this was the bulge of the forehead, not the eye socket. Correct. Yeah, so the eye socket is actually the change in direction here. So if you have a skull, your eye sockets, on the side of your eye socket, on the top part you've got your brow bone, and then on the edge you've got your cheekbone here. Okay, and these different bony structures, I guess, they're what's actually underneath the skin that's pushing that form upwards through the skin. Whatever. Quick little skull there. But so I would bring this up quite a bit. I'm not even really following the reference at this point. I would just say bring this up, and then I would change the eye direction a little bit higher up. If you want to get that cuteness factor that this character has, you kind of want to have the cheek come out a little bit and then curve in. I feel like that gives you that anime feel. Another thing here is, because your character, and I'm curious about this one actually. Yeah, this is definitely a thing I see a lot in anime. Where they don't actually change the eye size on a 3/4-ish pose. Really, if you're going 3/4, the eye that it's turning away from the central axis, meaning the central line going through the head. Okay, so if your head is rotating, it's going to be rotating off like a central pivot here. If you're moving away from that midline, the eye farthest away is going to shrink in width. Right? So this eye here that's closer to us, based on the perspective, this eye should be larger than the far eye. I gotta make sure I'm doing the anatomy right here. So she's kind of got like these droopy eyelids. It's kind of like this, and then I don't know, whatever. I'm not gonna fuss around too much about this, but essentially I'm making this smaller here, and then this one I'm gonna make a little bit bigger. Just a little bit. And now I'm going to just check my measurements here. I'm going to take this line, I'm going to copy it over. You don't have to do this. This is just me checking for the sake of the demo. And I'm a little bit bigger, you know? If I'm going, like, just a little tad bit larger. Which is all I want, really. I don't need it to be dramatically larger, because this isn't an extreme 3/4 head. Now, if she was turning her head, like, a lot more, then yeah, this eye would compress way more, right? Than the closer eye here. And then the width would be much more of a dramatic change between the two. But because this is kind of like a semi 3/4, semi front on, you just tone it down a little bit. Now, when it comes to eye direction, typically, what I like to think about is scleral show. And what that is essentially is how much of the sclera, aka the white of the eyes, is showing on either side of the pupil and iris. Okay? Mostly the iris, because that's the outer ring. But if you want a character looking at the camera, and their head is 3/4, let's say I have this eye here with this sort of positioning, That's not looking at the camera at all, actually. Is she looking at the camera? Kind of. Still not really looking at the camera. I'm trying to centralize it a little bit more. Kind of in line with where you have it. Then I would bring this eye over also, because the camera's kind of to the left of the midline a little bit, so her eye is looking a little bit off to this side, and this eye is looking a little bit off to this side. You could even shift this over maybe a teeny little bit that way. But eye direction stuff is really, really difficult to see when you're a beginner, so I wouldn't worry about it too much to start. Okay. You're gonna get a lot more bang for your buck trying to remember landmarks like the corner of the eye and the cheekbone, or what's called the zygomatic arch, than you are eye direction shit. So if you're taking anything from what I'm saying right now, take this out of there, and also the change in proportion between the far eye and the close eye. Okay, I kind of understand now, but I was having trouble with the torso width. That's the second reference. Second reference. Oh, there is another reference. Okay. I'm taking everything. Well, it's video format, so you can always come back to it too. Let me pull up this other reference here. I think there's other stuff that you're missing a little bit that makes this pose more appealing, and I'll explain it in a second. Okay, and she's doing it in this one too. I don't know if it's the same artist. Yeah, so in this case, the same thing I said about the eye, in this case she's wearing kind of like this weird bra thing or whatever. The same thing I said with the eye, where the closest eye is bigger than the farther eye on a 3/4 pose, it's gonna apply to the boobs, alright? And so if you've got sort of this midline going through here, you could track her belly button as the central axis, or the midline of the body. Tiny little anime ribcage. If a girl lived like this, she would not be able to breathe, but, you know, whatever. This boob, if I'm drawing it through, is going to be that size, whereas this one is going to be just a little bit smaller. Just a little bit smaller. And so if I'm looking at yours, this far one to me looks a little wider. And so I would just shift everything over just a little bit. There is one thing I want to also note, and this comes back to what Octo and I were talking about earlier in the rest of chat. I'm gonna make her ribcage smaller if the goal is to be a little bit more on model. It's to not have things feel flat. You can add subtle tilts. And if you look at this girl's head rotation, there's an angle to it. Whereas if I look at your head rotation, it's pretty straight on. And that's sort of, adding that subtle tilt, it adds depth to a pose. And so if you want to sort of have that feel, you really just need to take your pose and rotate it a little bit, you know? And then this neck is going to be a little bit longer on this side, and this one's going to be a little bit more pinched on that side to compensate. The boobs are actually triangular. That's the shtick with this art style. Are they, though? I don't think they're actually triangular. I think they just read as triangular. Like, I'm seeing curves here. I'm seeing curves. Even, like, the way the clothes fits, it curves, you know? And I think that's fine. She's just got, like, I don't know, like, perky breasts or whatever. But I wouldn't say this is triangular. You know, it's no Lara Croft from, like, the old retro Tomb Raider games. And so what I think you're thinking of is the actual, like, connection point here on the top piece of the swimsuit. And whatever the, like, crop top thing is here or whatever. Another thing is you had this other boob here tucked behind this arm. You see how this arm on your drawing here overlaps the breast? What that's basically saying is that this breast doesn't have volume, and that this arm is sort of like internally rotated and coming forward in front of the rib cage, which is a little awkward. Normally, if you're 3/4, you know, this form here, like the breast, is going to overlap the far arm. Normally. It's not really an arm, it's the jacket. Same rule applies. The jacket is fabric, so it's gonna wrap around whatever form is, like, you know, protruding out. Where the hell's the other reference? There it is. Like, look at... Fuck, I did it on her thing, but... I'm gonna undo all this red line stuff. Oops. Like, look. Look at the overlap here. It's going over top of the jacket. Exactly what I'm talking about. Right? Arm, jacket, whatever. The sleeve. And all these, like, rib cage forms here and all this stuff, they're creating these overlaps. And so that's sort of what you're missing here. You're getting a lot of, like, flatness, where you kind of want to show... You kind of want to show that the rib cage has volume and mass here. You can use the armpits as an anchor point for breast placements as well. Yeah, totally. So the breasts sit over top of the rib cage. If we're gonna do a quick little anatomy lesson. Your breasts are gonna sit... Your breasts. I don't know if you're a boy or a girl, but I call you Mike, so I'm gonna assume you don't have breasts. Your breasts sit on top of the rib cage here. And they attach up. They're actually on the pec muscle, which connects up onto the, I want to say the humerus bone, if I'm going off of memory. Don't quote me on that, though. And so because of that, you can use it as like a bit of an anchor point for your drawing. Depending on the perspective, if like you're tilting this ribcage up, the breast will sort of splay out because the ribcage is round. So, man, I wish I had them. Don't we all? Volume in ass? What? We're not doing ass anatomy right now. Do it jiggle? Shit, you know it do. You know it be jiggling. Yeah, you're right, dude, about the pecs and the collarbone. Did I say collarbone? I mean, I think it attaches to the collarbone and the humerus bone, right? Is that what it is? Humerus bone being your arm bone, like the upper arm bone. Like, I think it attaches there. Maybe the pec minor does. There's two actual, like, pec muscles. It's a little complicated. And then the pec major is it attached? It definitely attaches to the humerus also. I don't know. I forget my attachments sometimes. Anyways, all that to say, you can definitely, like Octo said, you can think of it as an anchor point to orient yourself. A lot of this stuff is basically, they're little tricks you can learn, like connections, origin points. They're things you can learn to sort of help you logic your way to self-critiquing things, you know? Which is why they're extremely useful in learning. And because you have that anchor point, you also sort of have an origin point now for where this fabric is going to be getting pinched from. And if I look at this character here, I'd be willing to bet, and I drew on her shit again, but This fabric is originating from behind the rib cage, right under the armpit here, and you've got all these tension points originating out of there as well. So the way fabric works is basically, I don't want to get into like too many like anatomy things. I could talk about this shit for fucking ever, dude. Like, if you want to get me yapping, just get me talking about anatomical breakdowns of like art and, you know, just general art theory, and I could fucking go on forever. But your brain is your brain, and you can't process endless information. So I'm gonna kind of limit it and just sort of keep it here for now. I think we covered quite a bit. The big takeaways here are gonna be eye width on 3/4, eye width. The other one was gonna be cheekbone to brow bone landmark. Cheekbone, cheek plus brow bone landmark. And then the last one was breast volume and overlap. Breast and overlap. And I think sort of that's a good place to start. That's a good place to start. What is 6 and 7? Oh, you bastard. Somebody ban this guy, please. Alright. I'm gonna send you this on the critiques channel on Discord, and I'll just send you on your way with those little fixes for now, just because I don't want to overload you, dude. How you doing, Uguay? Honestly, I haven't been able to memorize theory in a while. Hearing you talk about it is firing my synapses. Hell yeah, dude. Well, look, I appreciate all the feedback you're offering in chat. You're more than welcome to offer feedback whenever you want. Fix 7. Thank you so much, Papa Snack, or Snack Senpai. Doing God's work. I'm God's special soldier, dude. This is divine knowledge. I really need to figure out how to sub for my country. This guy deserves it. Hey, don't worry about it. I also threw some art into the Discord. 6 and 7 unfollowed on Facebook. Octo, you're like my age, bro. Don't get sucked in. Don't let them suck you into this. I see your art, Neon Beam. You didn't post it in the critiques channel, though. If you want feedback, we post in the critiques channel. I know you're new to the Discord, so don't feel too bad about that. But for feedback on stream, we'll post in the critiques channel. If you want feedback on your stuff, let me know. I don't really have a lot of knowledge around dinosaurs and shit. I do see you kind of have like a spiky guy I could probably help with. But yeah, up to you. And then after that, I think I'm gonna cap it on the feedback, because I am gonna wrap up stream in like 10-15 minutes ish. So the next one's gonna be a very quick one. Whenever I draw like mannequins like this, it just makes me want to draw like the whole pose. Lat muscles. I just need help on shading, if you don't mind. I could probably help. I'm gonna just delete all this shit real quick, so we can start with a fresh page. Shading on your dino? I mean, okay, so shading is kind of subjective. It's really going to come down to sort of how you want to define your forms, right? Like, I can shade it. I can basically give you the logic of shading. I'm incredibly new to digital. Oh, so you're talking about, like, specifically digital processes. Are you talking? By the way, do you want this? Do you want me to focus on the dino, or do you want me to focus on the dude with the spiky hat or hair or whatever, the helmet? Yeah, the spike guy. All right. Well, look, I don't have. I'm not like I'm definitely way more experienced at being like a line guy. I have done some rendering, and I can tell you sort of how I would approach it. What I would say, and you know what, I'll use one of my guys as a base here. Typically what I do, this is just me. Want to head on over to PK after and harass him? Yeah, that's probably where I'm going to raid into afterwards. Normally what I would do is, it depends on the degree of render I want to apply to my piece, right? Like if I'm just doing flats, which you are, basically pick a single light source and just sort of, you know, block based off of that. Lucky for you, you've got a lot of geometric shapes here. You've got some hatching, which I think takes away from having a little bit of a flat two-tone shading. But the issue is you've got your hatching a little bit symmetrically here, which indicates like a... I don't really know where the light's coming from. Like if this is all in shadow here, typically... Okay, let me restart from the beginning. If I'm picking shadow colors, I start with my local color, which you've sort of put down here. Then what I do, and I'm going to pull up my color wheel here, what I do, and this is just the way I do it, there are probably a million different ways you could do this. This is how I do it. I lower the value just a little bit. Like I literally just moved it down a smidgen. If it was here, I moved it to like here. I increase the saturation roughly by the same amount. And depending on if it's cool or warm tones, and this is not always going to work, but depending on if it's cool or warm tones, I'm going to either shift my hue towards being cooler or warmer just a little bit. This is sort of like a very rudimentary way that you can sort of choose your shadows, okay? Now I think in this case, maybe I go a little darker. Maybe I go a little warmer instead and see how that feels. That feels a little bit better to me, you know? So you've put shading there. So what you're saying essentially is that's where the shadows are going to be, is where those shading lines are. But the issue is, if the light source is coming this way, all of these planes are going to be catching the light. And so I wouldn't actually have these hatched. And then you're probably going to get some of the light source here caught as well. Probably going to be a little bit lighter value because it's a little higher up. But it is still going to be in shadow here because this spike is sort of blocking it. You can do the secondary shadows later. And then basically what you're doing is you're going in here. Obviously you would be doing all of this shit under the lines. I'm painting over the lines because I just have a flat screenshot here. But now what you're doing is you're just going in here and you're deciding, okay, how big are my brows? How much do they protrude out? If they protrude quite a bit, again, I'm picking my local color. I'm dropping the value, cranking the saturation. I shifted everything cool, so I'm going to shift things cool again. And that's going to keep our shadow tones a little bit more consistent. And now I'm just going in here and I'm looking for pretty shapes. That's really what I'm doing. I'm looking for shapes. A shape that I think is going to feel nice. Doesn't really matter. It's not super important what the shape is. So long as it's logical, it follows sort of the baseline anatomy, but you could tweak it a little bit however you want, you know? And you're just sort of playing with it, you know? You're painting, you're sculpting, you're doing whatever you gotta do, you know? This is how I would approach it, personally. For flats, anyways. So that's what I would say. And then all of this shit, I would just straight up probably actually just put most of this stuff in shadow. Maybe not all the way. I'd probably I'd probably do some sort of gradient to blend it out there, but because light is gonna spread. But yeah, this is sort of how I would do it. And then you can do your little detail work in here, you know, blah 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 blah, whatever. You get it, right? But that's essentially how I would paint this. Anyways, I'm not gonna linger on this too long. Um, these shapes aren't clean, by the way. Like I would, and I'm speaking specifically of my shadow shapes. They're not very clean. I would go in here and I go really, really deliberate, really graphical with everything. Try to get things as feeling nice as I can. You know, adding shadows back in where I think there should be some shadows to sort of better describe some forms, whatever, right? But all of this stuff is very, very subjective, and so it's kind of up to you on how you want to do it. Yeah, that's what I would say. Well, thank you. No worries. And then from there, I mean, depending on how painterly you want to get, you can start putting in even darker shadows. And you could just work in layers to your heart's content, basically. And then from there, you know, you want to think of the material. If you want to get really, really technical with the rendering, you would think of the material, and you would think of how much that material has, how much value contrast the material has. For example, skin is going to have a much subtler and more diffused value variation, from value being how dark and how white the shadows are on it, right? Metal is going to have very extreme shadow contrast, or value contrasts, where you could have a really dark value directly next to a hyper-saturated, like, bright light, right? Skin is a little bit more subtle. It tends to stick in a more similar grouping, I guess. It really depends on your light source. It's hard to give a sort of catch-all prescription with this stuff. But essentially, what I'm getting at is once you know what material you have, now you can determine how you want your edges to look, right? So you want to think of flats, then you want to think of shapes, then you want to think of what material you're on, and you know, your light source, and then you want to think of, and the reason you want to think of the material is because if you're doing skin, you want a lot of your transitions to probably be a little bit softer if it's skin. Maybe you have really harsh lighting, like some crazy theater lighting or some shit, then maybe you'll have a lot more hard edges. You know, it's really hard to give like a catch-all prescription to this shit, but this is all the stuff that would be running in my mind as I'm painting my pieces. That's sort of how I would approach it. Yeah, sorry. That's a really broad answer. But there's just so many possibilities that you can go with, and I can't choose them for you. They kind of have to be your own choice. And then from there, I would just look up tutorials based on the style and rendering techniques I want to implement into my work. But yeah, that's sort of how I choose my shit. Anyways, all that to say, we're gonna raid into PK, and I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. It is Friday, and I'm gonna go chillax a little bit before bed. Probably play some Zelda. TBH. So let me set up the raid here. Let's GTFO. I gotta type painted knave. Go beat the water temple. Thanks, Queen. I will. Thank you for stream. Have fun Zeldaing. I feel like Mike Mignola would be a good artist to study in this case. Oh yeah, if you're going for like really like black and white, like, or flatter like tones. There's another really good artist. I'll mention him before I raid out. What the hell? He's some Japanese guy. I follow him on Instagram. Fuck, what the hell's his name? My Instagram is all gooner shit right now. Let me go to my follows. My algo is fucked. What the hell's his name? What the hell's his name? I brought him up before, but he has like that very sort of graphic-y, almost like Mike Mignola. I think he's just a good secondary example for the style that you're producing here. God, what the fuck is his name? I don't follow a lot of people. He's gonna pop up soon. Ah, that's it. Satoshi Matsura. This guy also has a very, 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 very similar style to like the stuff that you're doing here. Flats, inks, all that good stuff, you know? Alright, anyways, with that, I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. And then we're gonna raid PK. Painted Knave. Alright, guys. Thank you all for coming out. Here comes my end of stream spiel. If you want to know when I'm going live, I'm going to be live tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want live notifications, make sure you join our Discord. Go to the rules section and click the little purple react to turn on the live notification roll, and then you'll know when I'm live. If you want feedback on your work, make sure you post in the critiques channel. And if I'm live and in the mood and you're in chat, remind me, and I will go over your work potentially. Depending, it's very mood dependent. But today we're feeling critiquey. All right. Anyways, guys, thank you all for coming out. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.